everyone, Marge here, and I welcome you to another tutorial on Bead with Marge. Here you will find detailed beginner-friendly tutorials on how to make beaded bags and accessories. So I urge you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so. In today's video, I want us to make this simple but stylish bag made with pearls. The steps are very easy and anyone can make it. So grab your tools and materials and let's get beading. So you'll need some beads. These are pearls. We are going to use size 14 and size 8 pearls, okay? And then you also need some fishing line, and this is 0.6. You can use a 0.5. You also need a cutter, okay? And then to proceed, you cut a new fishing line like I've done. You cut long enough, one that you can handle, okay? So you fix 2 beads on the left and you fix 2 beads on the right, okay? So we are going to create rings of 8, okay? So that is 3 on each side of the fishing line, all right? And then you fix 2 on the left and then you cross into both beads, okay? So this is how you do it like I have done. So you see that we have 8 beads in the ring, all right? You see? So we have 8 beads, all right? And then we cross into 2 into 2 beads, all right? So we repeat the step again. You fix 2 beads on the left, and then you fix 2 beads on the right, and then you go ahead and fix another 2. So this is how it looks like. That's 2 on each side, and then you fix another 2 beads, okay? And then you cross with the other side into the 2 beads, okay? So we've made another ring of 8, okay? Because the fishing line was already in the 2 beads, we needed to add 6 beads to make it 8. Perfect. So we'll go ahead and make another one. You fix 2 each on each side of the fishing line. You fix another 2 and then you cross into both beads with one side of the fishing line. All right? Perfect. So we've made the third one. I want us to make 19 of these, okay? We are going to weave 19, okay? So repeat the steps until you make 19, and then we will continue from there. So you fix 2 each on each side of the fishing line, and then you go ahead and fix another 2, and then you cross into both beads, okay? And please pay attention to that part. So you don't cross into 1 bead, you cross into 2 beads, okay? So as you can see, we've made 4. So we are going to continue, and I want you to keep weaving till you've made 19. So welcome back. I have successfully made mine. This is 19 of the rings, okay? So this part is what determines the size of your bag, whether it's going to be small or it's going to end up big, okay? And then another thing to pay attention to is that you do not start this part with odd numbers. You only start with even numbers, okay? So we are going to make the 20th one, okay? So you fix 2 beads on one side of the fishing line, and then you see you go through the 2 beads that I'm pointing. You go through that. So this one that you are making, it is what is connecting the other one to make it 20, okay? So the fishing line is in 6 beads, so we'll fix 2 beads, all right? So this is the 20th one that we are making. So this is it. And then you cross into both beads, all right? Making it 20. Like I said, you do not start this process with odd numbers. You only do even numbers. So if you want your bag bigger, you can do like 24 rings or 26 rings, okay? So now we are going to start building on the bag, okay? So to proceed, you fix 1 big bead, which is a 14, and then you fix small bead, and then you fix another small bead, and then you fix a big bead. So you see, you have one of the size 14, and then two size 8 and then another size 14. You cross into the big bead, okay? So this is how it looks like. All right, so we've started making rings of 6. So you see in that ring we have 6 beads. Okay, so we are going to go into 2 small beads. Okay, so we've started creating rings of 6 instead of 8. As you can see, the fishing line is in 3 beads. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and then fix 2 small beads and 1 big bead. Okay, so we've made our second ring of 6, and basically this is all we are going to be doing throughout. Okay, you enter 2 beads with the right fishing line, and then when you do that, the fishing line is in the 2 beads and then the big bead. So all you have to do now is fix 2 small beads and 1 big bead. I hope it makes sense. So when you count the rings on this layer, you see that we only have 6 beads in the ring. And that is what we are doing. So I want you to keep repeating the steps until you've gotten to the last but one, okay? Because it's very easy. So keep repeating it and I'll come back and join you, all right? So you enter 2 beads and then you fix 2 small beads and 1 big bead, and then you cross into the big one. And basically that is it. So keep weaving and I'll come and join you later. So welcome back. I have gotten to the last one. So if you did yours correctly, you should only have 2 of the small beads left. Okay. So we are going to complete this line by going into 2 beads, and then we are going to enter the big bead as well. So you'll see that the fishing line will end up in 4 beads like this, okay? So the fishing line is in 4 beads. So we are only going to fix 2 beads, all right, to complete our ring of 6, okay? So at this point, I want to make a knot because my fishing line has gotten short, okay? So I'm going to make a knot to secure the work, okay? And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to enter one side of the fishing line into the big bead and push it down so that I'll hide the knot in the big bead, okay? And then with the other side of the fishing line, I will just go through a couple of the beads, okay, to secure the work, all right? So this is how you do it if your line gets short, okay? So you just go ahead and make a knot and then pass the remaining fishing line into a few more beads to make it extra secure, and then you trim off like this, okay? So it's very simple, and I'm going to show you how to start with a new thread, okay, or a new line. All right, so we've completed this row. So you see, if you did it correctly, you should have this, okay. On the other side, you should have the same thing. So this is how it is. All right. So I'm going to, with a new fishing line, cut long enough, okay? And then you enter into 2 small beads, all right? And then you make sure that the ends are equal. So to proceed, I'm going to fix 1 big bead, fix 2 small beads, and then fix another big bead, okay? So we've just started with our new line. The fishing line is already in 2 beads and we fixed 4, so that will make it 6. All right. So you see, beautiful. We've started with our second line. Okay. So we are going to enter 2 small beads, and it's just like we did in the beginning. All right. We are just going to go ahead and fix 2 small beads and then 1 big bead, okay, on the left, and then we are going to cross into the big bead with the right, all right? So we fix 2 and then 1, and then we cross into the big bead, okay, like this. And that is all we are going to be doing. So Believe me when I said this tutorial is very easy, trust me. So we go into two beads, okay, with the right fishing line, and please make sure you're tightening up your work. Don't tighten up too much, but make sure it's very firm, okay? And then you fix two small beads, and then you go ahead and fix one big bead, and then you cross. So as usual, I'm going to weave mine off camera, and then I will leave you to keep weaving till we get to the last one, okay? And then we will finish it together. So happy beading. Go ahead and keep beading, and I'll come back and join you. Hey, welcome back. So this is what we have. I am almost done with my second line. I hope you've gotten to this point as well. So to complete it, we are going to enter two beads with the fishing line facing down, okay? We enter into the two small beads, and then we go ahead and enter into the big bead. So we will have the fishing line in four beads, okay? So we enter that one, okay? So now the line is in four beads, and you go ahead and make a knot, okay? When you get to the end of each line, make a knot, okay, to secure it, because the big pearls are just a little heavy, okay? And then you don't want your work to fall apart. So make sure you tighten up, you make a knot, okay? So with one end of the fishing line, we enter two small beads with just one end of the fishing line. So now we have the fishing line coming out of the two beads, you see, like this. Okay, beautiful. So this is how it should look like after you've made your knot. You enter with one side of the fishing line into two beads. So we are going to go ahead we've made two. Okay, so I want us to make five of this row, okay? So you fix one big bead, two small beads, and one big bead, okay? So this is how you do it. So I want you to follow the steps from the beginning and make five rows, okay? So this is the beginning of the third row, all right? So you just go ahead, enter two beads, okay, with the right fishing line, and then you keep going until you've made five, okay? So when you get to the end of each row, you make a knot, okay? Make a knot to secure the work, because the big beads are quite heavy, and if care is not taken, your work might fall apart. So it's better to make a knot when you get to the end of each row, okay? So I have successfully made five, okay? So if you don't want your bag like the height too long, you can make four rows, okay? You can make four rows, so you don't have to make five, all right? You can make four. So we are going to finish it off with our last row, which is the sixth one, okay? So the pattern is going to change a little bit on this last part. So you fix one big bead, one small bead, one big bead, one small bead, and then one big bead, and we are going to cross into two beads, okay, the last small bead and the big bead, okay. So you see we've crossed into two beads, all right. So the pattern has changed on this part, and this is the last pattern. So whether you did four rows or whatever row you decide to do, that you change the pattern of the last row, okay. So we are going to enter two beads, okay. We enter two beads. So you see that we have the fishing line in four beads already. Okay, so we are only going to fix two beads. Okay, you fix the big bead. We are going to fix three beads, sorry. So you fix one big bead, one small bead, and one big bead. Okay, so we are going to cross into the last two beads, which is the small and big bead. So with this side, we are only crossing into two beads. You see, so the pattern is slightly different from what do you call it? It's slightly different from the beginning, okay? So we are making rings of 7 in this one. So when you count, you see that the fishing line is in 7 beads, okay? So this is already in 4. We are going to fix 3 beads, okay? So we fix one big, one small, and then one big, all right? And then we cross into the small and big bead, okay? So when you count the rings, you see that we have rings of 7 and compared to the beginning where we had rings of 6. So I'm just giving you a thorough explanation so you don't mix things up, okay? So this is what we are going to do for this row, okay? So I want you to keep repeating it. You enter 2 beads and then you fix one big, one small, one big, and then you cross into the small and big bead, okay? So keep up with this pattern till you get to the end, all right? And then I'll come back and join you. So please make sure you are picking the right amount of beads, okay? So that your end will end up, your work will be correct, okay? So keep weaving and I'll join you when we get to the end. So welcome back. We've gotten to the end and now let's complete it. We are going to enter 2 beads, 2 of the small beads, okay? Down, we go into the 2 small beads and now we are going to go into the 2 beads on the side, which is the big bead and the small bead, okay? All right, so you see, you enter those ones, okay? The big bead and then the small bead on the side, okay? So we've entered 4 beads, all right? So now the fishing line is in 6 beads, okay? As you can see, you see, nice. So we are just left with one bead to complete this one. So you fix just one big bead, okay? And then to complete it, as usual, we are going to make a knot, okay? Please make sure your knot is very tight and secure. We make another one and then you make sure you pull tight, okay? You pull tight. So make sure when it gets to this one and your fishing line, you don't cut too long. As you can see, mine was so long and I had too much excess, okay? So now we've come to the end. So I'm just going to hide the knot and pass the fishing line through a few more beads and then trim off, all right? So you see, my work is secure. So if you follow the pattern correctly, this is how the sides of the bag should look like, okay? This is how it should look like, and then the base should also look like this. That is if you followed the pattern correctly, okay? So now we are going to finish off, okay, by closing the base, okay? So you cut a new fishing line. This time don't cut too long, okay? And then we are going to pass it through 3 beads, 3 of the big beads, okay? So this part we are only going to be making rings of 4. So the fishing line is already in 3 beads, all right? So guess what? We are going to fix just one bead, just one big bead, all right? You see, it's in 3 beads, okay? So all you have to do is fix one bead on any side of the line and then you cross into it. Make sure the ends are equal, okay? And then you cross into it beautifully, all right? So this is what we have. So we are only creating rings of 4. You enter one bead each with a fishing line on each side, okay? You see, you enter with the left and then you enter with the right. You only enter one bead, okay? One bead, all right? So now you go ahead. The fishing line is in 3 beads, so we will fix one, okay? You fix one on any side and then you cross, all right? So basically, that's all we are doing. And make sure you cross with a big bead, okay? So you see, we are going to repeat it again, go through with each side of the fishing line, go through one bead each, okay, on each side, all right? And then we will fix one big bead and we cross with the other side. So this is all that we are going to be doing till we complete the base of the bag, okay? So you see, keep repeating the steps, keep repeating the steps till you get to the last one, okay? And when you get to the last one, you just fix one bead and then you make a knot and then pass the fishing line through a few more beads to secure it and you trim off. Okay, so the base is well secured, okay? So I hope you've also done same for yours, okay? So this is how your work should look like. The bag is almost complete, okay? So that is the how it is when you fix your things in there, okay? So now I want us to fix the handle for the bag, okay? So you cut a new fishing line, all right? And we are going to go through the 8 beats with one side of the fishing line, all right? So you see, I've just gone through it, okay? The fishing line is in between the 2 beats, all right? So with both ends of the fishing line, we'll string some big beads. String according to how you want it, whether you want it long or short. It depends on you, but I did 42 beads on mine, okay? So with one end of the fishing line, all right, I'm going to go through 7 beads, okay? With one end of the fishing line, I'll go through 7 beads on the side, okay? I'll go through that bead, okay? So you see the fishing line, I've done that, and the fishing line is coming out of the 7th bead, okay? And then with the other side of the fishing line, all right, I'll just go through that side. I'll go through 1 bead, and I'll go through 3 beads, sorry. So I'm just doing the reverse. I'll go through 3 beads, okay? You see? So I went through 1, 2, and 3, okay? So now the fishing line is in 2 beads again, as you can see. So I'm going to, with each side of the fishing line, I'll go through the small beads, okay? I'll go through 4 small beads, all right? So I've entered 2 on that side, and then with the other side, I'll go through another 2 small beads, okay? So we are just interlocking to secure the handle, okay? So when I go through these 2 beads, all right, I'm just going to keep passing the fishing line through another 2 beads, all right? With that side of the fishing line, I'll go through 2 beads again. So this is what I have. So the fishing line is now in between those 2 beads, okay? So we will make a knot, all right? And then I'll make another knot to secure it. And then with one side of the fishing line, I'll go through 1 bead, okay? I'll go through that bead on the right. I want to hide my knot in there, okay? So when it gets to this part, you just use your own intuition as well, and then secure it to the best of your knowledge, okay? So now it's done. So I'm just going to pass the remaining fishing line through the 8 rings, a couple of them, and then I will trim off nicely, okay? I'll go through 2 more. So if you have excess fishing line, just go through a few of the beads. Just keep going till you feel that it's well secured, and then you trim off. So this is what I have. Congratulations. If you've gotten to this stage, I want to say well done, okay? So this is it. We've come to the end of our tutorial. So I just want to show you what can fit into this. I'm using my power bank that is 5.5 inches, and then the length is I think that's 2.5, okay? So if you have a phone of that size, it should fit into the bag. Like I said, if you want yours bigger, you can start by extending the rows from the beginning, okay? So I like my size. I like how it turned out. This bag is so pretty, and I like my handle, the length. You can choose to make your own handle long or short, okay? So if you did it correctly, this is how your work should look like. My handle is well secured, and please take your time and make yours very firm and secure, okay? So this is it. My bag is ready for any occasion I want to use it for, okay? So thank you so much for watching to the end, and if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and like, comment and share, okay? And thank you so much for supporting the channel. We've just hit 1K subscribers, and I am so grateful to each and every one of you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.